Alright, what is up, guys? So, this video is probably gonna be really long. I don't know how long, but probably really long as opposed to normal ones, which is kind of funny. So, we just had the devcast on Winpeg's Twitch, and I don't know if you guys watched it. However, I did, and I wanna kind of sum up some things for you. If you didn't watch it, it's kind of like a TLDR version because it lasted like 2 hours. Hopefully, this video isn't 2 hours. Hopefully, I go over everything way sooner. We got a lot of really cool things, and just as a warning, I did actually make a prompt for this one. Kind of. Pretty much, I just wrote everything down because there was way too much stuff for me to remember. I wrote everything on a notepad that I have here, so I'm kind of gonna try to go over it from the beginning. So anything you hear in here, if you want to go watch the VOD later, generally it will be in order. Maybe some things are out of order, but for the most part, it'll be in order. So to start off with, not what you see on the screen. They have the date they are expecting the patch to come out. Their internal date they are pushing for is the 22nd of November. So in 9 days, they are expecting the patch to be out, or they expect that's the patch day. It'll, I mean, I could see it being a little bit later. However, like I said, 22nd, that is when they want it to come out. Uh, if it actually does, we'll see. However, just that's the date to be looking forward to. All right, start off with triumph levels will be resetting. So, like the things you gain blue shards for, it'll reset back to the start, so it'll be easier to gain them again. Very minor, just thought I wanted to mention it. Pretty cool, so you don't have to spend money and get more shards, buy more stuff. So, one of the biggest things they have to start off with, they have the first implementation of the quest system. And I don't actually have a screenshot of it here. However, what we were shown was they have let me see if I can actually no, I can't find it. They had fantastic taxidermy. These are like the quest names, I guess. They had fantastic taxidermy, which I assume is some level of killing a creature, like killing like an animal quest. I can't think of what else it would be. Maybe it's like bring back like a high level resource of an animal or something. Never know. Biological rarities. I have no idea what that is. Maybe that's like certain drops. Like for example, you know how the ruins golem can drop firefly abdomens. Maybe it's that. I don't know. They have relics and antiquities. We saw what that was as a valuable deliver quest where they had to deliver like crowns, gold water pots, that type of thing. Creature features. Once again, not sure. Assuming it's just certain animal kills. Mapping the ruins was another one, and I assume that's like map discovery. You have to go to a certain area on the map, maybe do something. I'm not sure. And then skilled fighter was the last one, which I will assume is a PvP quest. And now, I mean, that was just they didn't really give us a whole lot of information on the quest system. That's just what they said. However, if you do like doing quests unlocks more items from merchants. They have an affinity system, like pretty much any other game with quest systems do. So the more quests you do for someone, the more items you can unlock, and the more you can buy from them. I assume they didn't mention it slightly, but I assume that means you can select higher rarity items. I don't know if this works just for like weaponsmith. I don't know if it works for like potion vendors and stuff like that. That'd be cool. But the most important thing I think from the quest system that they said is the gold chest will be a quest reward. I don't know like how far down you have to go if it's like a last reward, but you will be able to get a gold chest from a quest reward, which is awesome. Just great. It was way too hard to get. Like it was basically irrelevant in the game, but now it'll be really really cool, and you can get a questing. That'll be sick. On to the next part, which you do see on the screen, is they're adding a ranking system. As you see here at the bottom, I don't know, it's a little blurry because it's a screenshot. However, if you look at the bottom, the ranks are Neophyte, Apprentice, Wanderer, Pathfinder, Voyager, Exemplar, and Demigod. And you see rewards on the bottom here. However, these rewards are not these are not necessarily the rewards. They did say there will be an exclusive skin that you see for Demigod. However, it will not be for Demigod rank. These are just placeholders. They just kind of threw them in here. As well as these are other awards are not guaranteed. They're just once again placeholders or they're testing stuff out. So something to note is that the rewards that you get for the rank will be given at the start of the next season. So you get rewards based on the end of your rank at the end of the season, and whatever rewards you get will be delivered to you at the start of the next season. Which this is pretty cool for a couple reasons. That being one, if you get like let's say you get like a gold amount, right? Like, let's say for demigod you get 2,000 gold, which obviously I have no idea. This is just completely speculation, and I assume they won't do this. Or even a gold chest. Like say you get a gold chest for demigod, right? that means you would start the next season with a gold chest. And that's obviously a very big advantage as opposed to certain players, or even just starting with raw gold. Like you start with 2,000 gold. Starting with 2,000 gold compared to not starting with 2,000 gold is giant. You can buy pretty much any gear that goes on the market right away. You'll have a giant lead, which is just weird. And I hope they don't do that where they give out gold. Also, for the rankings, you see here, this is the kind of like the in screen you will see at a lobby. I don't know if this is being implemented yet. I think this is something I want to implement. And you see, these are the things you'll get points for: monsters killed, chest props. I assume this is open slash broken. Players killed, sub bosses killed, high end chests open, bosses killed, treasure extracted, which is kind of like treasure collector. Portals points. I don't know if this is just portals opened, because if so, you're just gonna be open every portal you see. And then successful extraction multiplier. This is times 1. I don't know if this could mean you get like times 1 if you take a blue, or blue on the first level, or times 2 if you take a blue on the second level, so in hell. Or it could just be however many successful extractions you have in a row, you get a bigger multiplier, right? So, not sure exactly how that works. And then AP entrance fee. So these are AP is your points, right? It's adventure points. That's your like ranking point amount. So whenever you enter, you have to pay a fee to enter that's based on your ranking. So the higher rank you are, the more of a fee you have to pay of your points to enter, which is, I mean, it makes sense. So one major issue with this ranking system that I'm sure a lot of you can see is, well, no, first of all, there's nothing on here for assists, right? So it's like player kills, monster kills, bosses killed. So unless they are going to start counting it, so like if I kill a boss, it counts for my whole team, or if I kill a player, it counts for my whole team. This is gonna be really bad because it's gonna make it really hard for like players like clerics that are playing like your generic heal style to actually climb rankings, because generally speaking, they're not the one killing most of the things. They're not really killing any mobs, they're not really opening that many chests, killing bosses, players, that type of thing. They're usually in the back getting very low numbers, which this has been an issue throughout every leaderboard we've had so far. However, everyone's kind of hoping they would fix it whenever they released like a real ranking system, right? And based on what I've heard, they haven't done anything to do that, which could be really really bad. I mean, there are certain ways you could funnel them. However, it's like let's say like I take monster kills and player kills. Somebody like opens all the chests, like and then and like so or somebody kills all like the bosses and like gets all the treasure, right? So you try to like split it up like evenly, but it's like I said, that's kind of not a good way to climb. Ideally, you would want to be the person like getting all of them, right? Like I would want you to kill all the monsters, open everything, kill the bosses, kill the players. Like that's like the fastest way to climb, right? If you're trying to grind to rank 1, that's still the way. However, it's going to be harder to do that if your teammates aren't getting anything either, because I'm not sure if there's going to be any sort of like queue range, like like demigods can only queue with demigods or that type of thing. I mean, I assume not. They didn't say anything. I hope not, but it could be really annoying for certain players where like if I'm a demigod because I'm the one getting funneled and my two teammates are like what all the way down in like Pathfinder or something, right? That would really suck for them because everybody's going to want to like climb high and get these like end of the season rewards. That's something else that I don't think they mentioned is I don't know if these ranks are limited. Like let's say like how like let's say like Challenger in League or Grandmaster in another game is like it's the top 500 exemplars, right? Or top 100, 200, whatever it is. They didn't say if this is a limited rank or anybody can get this, but I mean that I don't know. That'll be cool to see. Anyways, on to the next thing. Let me look over here. So okay, so at the end of the season, like you'll see right here, it says your in-game name and border will reflect your seasonal title. So I'm assuming like your little character picture will have like a little icon on it for whatever it is, like whatever your like rank gets. Like you'll have a different border for them. You'll have like a title on it. That'll be cool. Is what it is. I don't think there's anything that crazy. Then we have this right here, which is player statistics. And this is something you see out of game. It's kind of just like you go and look at your history. You see all the stats you've gotten for all your games. I don't think they said when they're implementing this in. I don't think this is going to be in the next patch. However, it could be. I could be wrong. I could have just misheard. But this is something they're working on. And you see here, you have like Forbidden Castle, High Roller, so you'll be able to sort through the categories, look at norms, HR, Goblin Caves, ruins, I assume, whatever it may be. And they also have something up here for current season, so you'll be able to see yours for the current season, or you'll be able to see them for like all time, or like last season, season before that, whatever stuff like that. That could be really really cool. All right, and I think these are the only 3 screenshots I have. So mostly everything I'll talk about after this won't really be from screenshots. It'll just be stuff that I talked about. So once again, if you want to listen to it for yourself, feel free to do that. It's like 2 hours long, so good luck. All right. So they said they are working on a friends list. That they said that is being worked on. They said that could be in this patch. They said they think the friends list will be in this patch. So November 22nd, they think we will have a friends list implemented then. However, they did say they expected to be on Steam by this point, and they are still working on getting on Steam. But because they're not there yet, that's why they said there's a lot of things they didn't have ready. For example, like also, hold on. Something I just noticed up here is at the top. This is like category 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what this means. This is weird. I don't know if it's for leaderboards or what. That's all right. I didn't mean to get off on that. But yeah, this is weird up here. I don't know what this means. Maybe it's just like play, like stash, and all that. It's just they're trying a different UI. I assume that's probably what it is. But anyways, they said they expect to be on Steam by now, but they're not. So they're working on a lot of things. They kind of have to build a bunch of stuff from the ground up. Like for example, their launcher. They had to build it completely, from the ground up. Like I said. Something else. Actually, I guess I do have a screenshot of this. Let me find it early. Let me just find it. It's really small, so it's kind of hard to see. Open link. Let's look here. So I don't know if you guys can see this. It's kind of hard to see, like I said. But if you notice right here where you can't see my mouse, oh, there it is. If you notice right here, you see a shield, and I'm assuming this is the kite shield, right? Because you can see this. It kind of looks similar to a heater. It's a little bit taller and a little bit less wide, and it has this like checkered pattern on it. So this looks like it's probably the kite shield that we've heard of before being added. I don't know if this is coming in this patch or if they're just like showing this. It'll be in a later patch, but I'm assuming that's the kite shield. This sword, I think this is a Viking sword. I don't think this is anything new. I'm pretty sure that's just a Viking sword, but yeah. So it looks like we're getting the kite shields. That'll be cool. I mean, I'm always down for a new shield, so I'm always down for new stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Something they've mentioned. This is very, very far off, but they mentioned a scav mode like Tarkov. I don't know exactly what that would entail. Like, I don't know if that would mean you playing as a mob. Like, that could be pretty cool. Or like you load in with like a mob set, like I don't know, like a skeleton with a Zweihander or something. But they said that is like incredibly far away, and it's just something they've talked about like 1 to 2 years away if they were actually going to do it. All right, on to the next thing. They are adding a Cyclops boss into the Goblin Caves, and they did show like a little clip of it. I don't have it, but they did show one. If you want to go see it, feel free to look that up. It kind of looks like a more HD version of the troll from when I looked at. And the short clip they showed, he was kind of like slamming around to his sides and in front of him, and when he was slamming down, there was like rocks falling from the ceiling that looks like they do damage. So maybe he looks like he has more AoE mechanics or something. I'm not sure exactly what the boss will be in. I don't know if it's like an HR thing or if it's like, it's either Troll or Cyclops in HR or Norms. They probably said it and I just didn't hear it because there's a lot of stuff, honestly. They were talking for a long time. I was just not paying attention to all of that. So that's cool if you're like a Solos fan. Nice, you get a new boss coming, sick. So this is actually something interesting. They did mention that there was some form of matchmaking already in the game, like some sort of MMR system. I don't know exactly like how or exactly what it would do, but I mean personally, I don't know about you guys, I don't really feel it when I play, but they did say there was some sort of MMR system already in place in the game, which is interesting. All right, on to one of the biggest things that they mentioned, new stats. So they said the current five stats that your default, like like strength, agility, will, knowledge, resourcefulness. They said they aren't fleshed out. Like they even mentioned that resourcefulness is basically a useless stat. It's pretty much completely dead. Whereas strength and agility are really OP stats that are just significantly better than everything else. And the thing they said is something that we've all been hoping for a long time. Strength is being split into two stats, and agility is being split into two stats. So now we will have strength and vigor. Strength, what it will do is it will be 20. Strength will give you 25% of the previous HP scaling. So, if, for example, if you were going to get 2 HP points per point of strength, now you will get zero point 0.5, and it will give you physical power. And vigor will give you 75%. So if you were going to get that 2 points, then you would get 1.5 per point of vigor. And it will regen your HP faster when you're resting, which is cool. I don't know if it's just that, but that's what they said, which is pretty cool. This is really, really good. It's bad if you're a tank, right? Like if you're a barbarian or a fighter player, this is really bad. Also, the next change is really bad for you too, because now you can be tankier. However, your damage is going to be much, much lower. Unless you only spec into strength and vigor, because specking into three stats is pretty hard. Unless you have very high base, which obviously the thing is with this, they're going to have to redo base stats. Whether they're going to redistribute what we already have, or they're just going to add a new stat on and increase the stat total by, 15 points or whatever it may be. which I assume they won't. I assume barbarians will not keep 30 strength and have whatever their vigor will be, right? I assume not. That would not make a whole lot of sense to me. All right, and now agi will be split into agility and dex. Agility will be movement speed, whereas dex will be action speed plus interaction speed, like the action speed or the interaction speed portion that agility used to be when it came for that. So if you guys don't know interaction speed, how it works is it was 40% scaling of your agility and 60% scaling of your resourcefulness. Now that interaction speed will be 40% scaling of your dex. So once again, this is a really, really big change. Mostly for melees, this doesn't really matter that much for range characters. It's a little bit of a change, but for the most part, like I said, this is really big for barbarians and fighters again, specifically barbarians, because now, so before you only had two stats you wanted to build: strength and dexterity, or and agility. Those are the only two stats you needed. That gave you HP, damage, movement speed, and action speed, which are the four best stats you could get. Now you have four stats for those. So you cannot, and like that's, if you guys don't know, in the current game, you cannot build into four stats entirely. That's just, it doesn't work that way. If you do, you're gonna have four like mediocre level stats. Two is really the limit, and two you only can build two if you have pretty damn good gear. So now you have all your stats that you want have been split into four stats. So if you want HP, you have to build Vigor. If you want damage, you have to build Strength, Move Speed, Agility, Action Speed, Dex. So now you're going to have to only be able to build two of these. Do I want HP and damage? I have to build Vigor and Strength to get to where I used to be. Do I want damage and move speed? Strength and agility. Oh, then I'm losing action speed and HP. So it's going to be much, much harder to build things to get everything you want, which is good. It's a good thing. This helps balance a lot because now they can balance things. That there's the whenever things are more split up, it's easier to balance here. You won't see barbarians running around with 100% move speed with 200 damage headshots from their war maul with 200 HP anymore, swinging at 30% action speed. Right, that just won't happen, which is awesome. It's great. Okay, on to the next thing. They said they were thinking about adding down portals for different maps, so like ruins and goblin caves. And they were also talking about multi-tier high roller maps. So what that means is high roller would be like a three-layer dungeon. So for example, you would go ruins, crypts one, and then into the inferno slash hell, like whatever you want to call it. They would it would be like a long dungeon, right? It's a multi-tiered HR map. All right, next, they said they are working on the test server. If you guys remember, all the way back when we first bought the game, if you bought the $50 version of the game, it gave you access to the test server. Honestly, I'd forgot that even existed up until now, but they are working on it. And they said for the test server, they want to try very radical things. I'll get into like what that could mean in a bit later, towards the end. But they said they want to try very, very radical things. So all different types of maps that are like what they wouldn't normally have. And then for the next one, they said the auction house slash flea market is coming very, very soon. Very, very soon. That's a great thing. Is that the current trade system takes direct inspiration from Diablo 2 style trade chat trading, which is originally why they were against an auction house. They reversed their perspective on this due to the high investment cost of gear plus losing gear on death and are open to experiment with this type of system now. Basically, what that just means is they finally realized that whenever you die, it really sucks to have to go try to sit in trade chat for 3 hours to buy a really good gear set back. I mean, I completely agree. I used to be someone that really liked the trade system. However, the more the game goes on, how the market fleshes out, it gets really annoying to buy stuff. You're like, especially if you're trying to buy some BIS level gear, you are pretty much sitting there, hope it gets posted for however long, and then it's not just you. Whenever it does get posted, other people are also waiting for the same thing, and so then you're competing to try to see who could trade that guy first. So, also with the current level of trade, the current market, it does open RMT, it makes RMT way easier. If there is a what's it called? If there is a auction house, it makes RMTing much much harder because they can't post something for like 1 gold and give it to a guy because that guy just PayPal'd them $20, right? If you post something for 1 gold in the auction house, it's very easy to get sniped if people that are watching because there are going to be people that watch the auction house refreshing constantly for stuff like that. Just going to happen. There is a hideout feature being worked on for individual player rooms with training dummies and other functional items. They said this is still months away, but it's really cool that it's being worked on. I'm very, very excited for that. So you'll finally be able to like go in and like test builds, test damage, that type of thing without having to worry about going into game and testing the kit out. Pretty cool. New weapons with new mechanics in the works. I'm not sure exactly what this means or any sort of specifics behind this. I didn't really hear a whole lot about it, but I assume it just means like like different rather than just like normal like, oh, I swing, I hit you melee weapon, like potential like cool things. Like I'm thinking like a flail type of thing, something like that, like a whip even. Stuff like that could be really cool that they add to the game. All right, and on to the last thing, and possibly the biggest thing if you're a trios player. I think it's probably one of the coolest things. A new map is coming. We are getting an ice map. They were going to release it in patch 2, but they realized it is not ready. They said it feels too generic and it's too much of a reskin version of the crypts. They are working on new encounters to make it more distinct from other maps. And because this is a ice map, we're gonna have mobs like frost giants, yetis, and this is just my assumption. They didn't say it. I'm assuming dire wolves, and if we have dire wolves, which means we can get wolf pellets from a map that isn't ruins, which is really cool if you're a threes player. And this is actually something I found out like watching this. They only have one guy working on all the mobs in the game. There is literally one guy doing all of the design and all of the AI for every single mob in the game, which is insane. That's just absolutely crazy. All right. And other than the ice theme mobs like frost giants that I mentioned, they have confirmed that they are going to do an ice dragon boss for the map. And that sounds sick. I am so hyped for that. So that screenshot when you load into the game of you seeing people kill a dragon, it's finally gonna be real, and I am so excited. They said they are pushing for a December release. They'll do like a Christmas themed thing for the ice map. They said, however, January is a bit more realistic than December, but you never know. It could be crazy. It could be awesome. And then one of this map is one of the first maps they are thinking about testing things on, and the things they are considering testing is potentially no circle for this map. Also, they were asked like how many players will the map be? Will it be 3? And they said they're unsure on it. So this could be a bigger team map. Could have 4-man, 5-man teams on this map, depending. And honestly, just because they are considering no circle and a bigger team, I'm assuming this is a very big map as opposed to what we normally have. Because like Crypts and like Crypts is it's a decent sized map. However, this map could be huge. If like it's an ice castle, like imagine you start outside, you can move inside the castle, you go to the top, that's where the boss is. That would be sick. That would be really really cool. I would very much enjoy that. But that pretty much sums it up for everything I went over, or everything, not everything, everything they went over. We got a really cool, we got a lot of really cool things. I'm sure there's not as much content as some people are hoping for. I mean, personally, for me, I don't care about. Okay, I say I don't care about the quest system. I care about some of the quest rewards. So I'm gonna do the quest. Like for a gold chest, you bet your ass I'm doing those quests. But I don't particularly care about that. It's whatever to me. I'm much more excited for the ranking system. I'm excited to see how this actually works out. If it's really fun, and balance changes. Them adding in 2 new stats in dexterity and vigor are already going to make the game so much different, and I am super excited. I'll probably make another video going over just those 2 stats that I think and how important it'll be to the game. But I think that pretty much sums it up for me. If you have any opinions or thoughts, feel free to leave them down below. And until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.